I'm still like on edge right now. That was insane.
All right, can you calm down?
No,
I need to do my thing.
I
need to open it. Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 4, The Spoils of War. Wow.
I'm still like, how long has it been? And I'm still like...
It's been like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's a while.
Yeah.
I haven't felt this way after an episode in a while.
Well, you almost fell off your chair.
I shot back.
At that. Well, let's get right into it. Fuck the overall feelings. We loved it. The final scene. What the fuck?
That was so insane.
You almost fell off your chair at that last moment when Jaime was charging Daenerys.
I was Jaime for a second. I saw like the dragon just breathing fire.
You were 6'2", golden locks, fake hand.
If something happened to Jaime, we still don't know because it's kind of like an ambiguous ending. But that was Jesus Christ. That was.
Did you think he was going to die?
Yeah, I thought so. And then I guess it was Bronn out of nowhere making the save of all time.
When Drogon turned his head and opened his mouth, I was like, oh, well, see you, Jaime. Because earlier in that scene, we saw Bronn, when he was done trying to shoot Drogon, that he was looking for a horse, and he saw that white horse.
It's the same white horse.
Do you think Bronn is dead?
There's a reason why you don't swim in armor, right?
Yeah. Weighs you down.
Weighs you down. So I have to assume that Jaime's going to get pulled out. I don't think Bronn might. I have a feeling there's going to be a shot next episode of them pulling out Bronn's dead body, which would be a shame because during that whole battle, I didn't know if I wanted Bronn or Drogon. Like, it was so weird watching.
Well, it's cool that Bronn, if he did die, that he went out trying to save his friend. Obviously, his friend is very rich and he needs him alive in order to.
Even before that, when Bronn has the what's it called?
The scorpion, the ballista.
When I'm like, do I want when Drogon's coming right at him?
Yes.
And he's aiming, like, do I want him to nail Drogon right in the skull, or do I want Drogon to kill Bronn?
It was like Blackwater all over again. Who am I rooting for here?
But Blackwater, you weren't rooting for Stannis, or like you didn't have.
But you didn't want Davos to die.
I guess we just met Davos at that point, so even though he was great, like it was kind of like you didn't want Tyrion, but you didn't really care about like Cersei at that point or Joffrey. But this one are two characters that you love. It's Daenerys and Bronn and Jaime.
Well, that thing is lethal. Oh, the way that it swivels, too. I'm saying if they got like 30 of those in King's Landing, Daenerys could be in trouble. Because I really thought he was going to... The way he shot him, though, he injured Drogon. Drogon, he was still able to fly and attack, but that was intense, man.
What do you think he's out? 2 to 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think that's a 2 to 3 weeks game time decision for King's
30-day
Landing.
DL, maybe?
Well, they've got 2 backups that are pretty good.
Yeah.
But the start of that scene, seeing the Dothraki coming over the hill, this only the second time that we saw the Dothraki fight, but we got to see their full potential.
Yeah, it's like an actual horde. When I guess the other time is when Dario came at Marine, you saw a little glimpse of the Dothraki in battle, but this is the horde coming at you. The noise they make as a group and and you hear the horses in unison just going towards you. That has to be some scary shit.
When Bronn heard it too, and he was like, Jaime, get out of here. These fuckers are about to slaughter us.
Yeah.
Well, that move that Tyrion did kind of worked out. Him taking Casterly Rock and made Cersei and Jaime go to Highgarden, but now that opens them up to being attacked by the Dothraki on the open field without risking civilian casualties. That was their whole thing. They didn't want innocent people to die. No innocent people died in this. It was only soldiers.
That was a great move too. Daenerys, a quick little fire, breaks their line, and the Dothraki just rushes right through and is able to.
Well, when you saw Drogon come over the hill too,
beautiful shot.
Yeah,
there's so many beautiful shots.
How good is the
Drogon.
CGI for a TV show?
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And the whole battle. My favorite part of the battle was that tracking shot of Bronn, where he gets thrown off the horse by the Dothraki.
Very reminiscent of Jon in the Battle of the Bastards.
Yeah, and you see how claustrophobic this battle is. There's fire everywhere. People are fucking dying by the second. Drogon's fire was burning them to ash.
It reminded me of a modern war scene. Airstrikes and things like that. Just chaos all around you, not just on the ground, but now with the sky, with the dragons and fire going down and everything just going. You see the ashes. People are burning and the wind blowing their ashes within seconds.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Within seconds, these people were turning into ash. So the repercussions of this battle, it's a good win for Daenerys. The Lannisters were still able to transport the gold to King's Landing, but now they have Jaime Lannister as a prisoner, and they've taken out the entire Lannister army at this point. Well, a good portion of it, because they still have some men at Casterly Rock. But what are the implications of this battle moving forward?
I think it definitely puts Cersei on the... I think it definitely puts Cersei against the ropes now, because there's a lot of that talking about dragons and like knowing what they've done in history, and it's another thing to actually witness and actually see what they can do to your army in just an hour.
Jaime's face when he first saw the dragon.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Seeing
like, is believing.
You could talk about it all you want, but once it finally hits you and hits your army like that, you've got to definitely be on the defensive at that point.
I think he'll be some sort of political prisoner that they'll use him to negotiate with Cersei. But I don't think Cersei necessarily loves Jaime. I think that relationship stemmed from Cersei always wanting to be a man, and she saw in Jaime what she could never be. But now that she's the queen, I don't think she values Jaime as much as maintaining the Iron Throne.
I think Cersei's smart too. She knows Daenerys. As long as she holds the city, Daenerys can't really use the dragons against the city. Because I think she knows as well that Daenerys is not going to just burn down the city. And
Right.
kill
It's all about that
people.
shadow of power of who controls the Iron Throne. So, you can call yourself king or queen, but unless you have the throne, that's really what solidifies your rule. So let's go back to the beginning. The first scene, we get Jaime and Bronn, and I love that line that Bronn said, "Oh, would the Queen of Thorns prick you one last time in the balls before she went?"
Yeah, that's exactly what she did.
Yeah.
First glimpse of Bronn this season, so that's always good.
I love how he asked for a castle. It's like, you still owe me a castle. How about that one? Bronn, the fucking Lord of Highgarden. That would be awesome. And then they get all the Tyrell gold. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out with the Iron Bank. That after the battle, who do they back? Do they back Cersei because they got all her gold, or do they pick the winning side? Because I would say Daenerys is the winning side after a defeat like that.
Yeah, it wasn't just like a win, it was a strong win.
Right, and the reach is hers now.
Yeah, there's a lot of difference between like the books and the shows, like with the Iron Bank, of like who they would go for.
And the Lannisters still have their gold in the books.
Yes, I think they drew it out last episode when they were talking that the Iron Bank of Braavos has some investment in slavery. I think they mentioned last episode, so...
Well, a lot of people said that Braavos is not a slave city, but it's a matter of you having investments in these countries that do own slaves, and that hurts their business because they're slave economies.
So I guess in the show, that's part of their investment, so I guess they would still try to back Cersei, but...
Well, Cersei brought up, too, that she hired the Golden Company, which is basically a mercenary group that was founded by Aegon Rivers, who was one of the Targaryen great bastards. The Golden Company had a lot to do with the Blackfire rebellions. In the books, they play a more central role because they back young Griff, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories, and they're known as a formidable force, though.
Yeah, they're probably one of the better, probably the better sellsword company around, but I think it's just more of they're just using the name, so like book readers are like, oh, that's cool, the Golden Company, we've heard about that. I don't think it's going to be as in-depth as far as their backstory with the Targaryens and...
Yeah, it's just going to be like a little nod.
Yeah, so...
They could make them Targaryen loyalists.
Or Blackfire loyalists, but in this case, I guess
Blackfire.
Targaryen.
They say Viserys tried to ask the Golden Company to fight for him, and they called him the Beggar King. Yeah, it's interesting. I would like to see how they would play out in a battle. Then the next scene is between Littlefinger and Bran. This is one of the best scenes of the episode. You see Littlefinger trying to give Bran the dagger, the Valyrian steel dagger that was used by the assassin that tried to kill Bran in Season 1, Episode 2. Things coming full circle here. And Littlefinger trying to manipulate Bran. Not gonna work out for you, buddy.
Well, yeah, because I know every fucking thing you've done. He's basically seen the show.
Yeah, he's seen the entire series. He's seen the prequels, he's seen the spin-offs. He can see everything. When Littlefinger says to him, you've been through so much and now you come back to this chaos. And Bran was like,
chaos is a ladder.
Oh shit.
Hell yeah.
Because that's what Littlefinger said.
Chaos isn't a pit. Chaos is a ladder.
All of a sudden, he's just so emotionless and he's not connected to the world.
Well, he's very detached.
Yeah, I heard someone compare him to Dr. Manhattan from The Watchmen.
Yeah, that was a great comparison.
Spot-on comparison. Because they're both kind of the same character, like all-knowing and just so detached from reality that they don't really know how to interact with people anymore.
He's a realist.
They still remember their old selves, but they're so gone from that.
But one of the lines that really stuck with me was when Littlefinger said, sorry to disturb you, Lord Stark, and Bran said, I'm not Lord Stark. I took that as, I'm not my father. You're not going to fuck with me. You're not going to fool me. I know too much. You're done. Your days are numbered. And the scene with Mira, that was a sad scene.
Yeah.
Because it shows that Bran is so detached that all he can say to her is, thank you.
Yeah.
Go on your way.
Like, again, it's exactly like out of Watchmen when he's trying to connect with, like when Dr. Manhattan's trying to connect with Silk Spectre, and that one scene when he's like, has different bodies, one's having like sex with her and the other's like in the other room. He doesn't understand like why she's upset. Like the same way Bran can't see why Mira is like, thank you, that's it.
I almost died for you. Hodor died for you. My brother died for you. She says you died in that cave. It's kind of true. He says that he remembers Bran Stark, but I thought Mira was going to play a bigger role in this season with Howland. I thought that Bran was going to tell her, go get Howland, tell him that the Starks need to see him because of Jon's parentage.
Well, I think Bran already knows, so that's an easy cutout.
Yeah, maybe more in the books.
Yeah.
I still think we could see Howland because, for the people that don't remember, he was the other soldier at the Tower of Joy with Ned when he found Jon. I'm still holding out for Howland in this season or maybe season 8 because I want to see the neck.
I've been holding out for Lady Stoneheart for like 4 years, so.
But as a book reader, the neck sounds so cool, but maybe it's a little bit too hard to do on the show's budget. They don't want to waste that money on the neck. And then we get another reunion, Arya returning to Winterfell.
Yeah, a lot of Stark reunions lately.
Yeah.
This one wasn't as like heartfelt as like Jon and Sansa, that being the first time, and even Sansa and Bronn. But this one was it was nice to see. But I didn't really.
That scene when she's trying to get in, it was very reminiscent of season 1 when Arya was trying to get into the Red Keep. That was a nice little callback. And I loved when she was just sitting down. They were like, "Oh, sit here. We're gonna go get Lady Sansa," and she's just looking around the castle and remembering this is my home. And she turns and she sees the Stark banner, and that was a great moment.
Yeah, it was. And, Sansa and Arya never really had the best relationship with each other. But it was definitely, after all they've been through and the different paths they went.
It was great to see their reunion in the crypts in front of Ned's statue.
Yeah, that was great. And they're talking about, like, long story, like their travels. So.
And I love what Arya says, "This doesn't look like him. They should have got somebody that knew his face." And Sansa says, "Everybody that knew his face is dead." And she's like, "We're not." And Arya's like, "Our story is not finished." I was like, let's go. And I love when she mentioned the list to Sansa. It's like, "Oh yeah, a list of people I'm gonna kill." Sansa's like, "Okay." Oh, by the way, Bran's back. He's fucked up too.
Okay, when you see Bran, don't.
And I just want to point out Maisie Williams. How good is she as an actress?
She's fantastic.
So confident in her the way she plays the character, her facial expressions, the way she just does the rock eyebrow where she lifts the eyebrow. She's a very confident actor and very underrated, I think.
Yeah, she's always been fantastic, even when she was younger and when season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
She stole the show.
Bran and Arya, and they were close. We know that from the books, that they had a close relationship.
Yeah.
Bran seemed to be a little bit more of himself in this scene. Because he even embraces her, he pats her on the back, he gives her the dagger. Do you think this dagger comes into play? Because why introduce it if it's not going to be used to kill White Walkers? Or Littlefinger, but it's a Valyrian steel dagger.
Yeah, I think it'll come back. I mean, there's too many connections with Valyrian steel and the White Walkers, so how badass would it be Arya just taking down White Walkers with a Valyrian steel dagger and needle?
And then there's a nice little scene with Brienne and Podrick where Podrick says Catelyn Stark would be proud, and Brienne is like, "I did next to nothing." But, Brienne, she played her role. They're home. I love when Podrick says, "You're too hard on yourself, my lady." And Brienne's like, "I'm not a..." Nah, thanks, Podrick. You're a good friend.
It's 2 years and you're still calling her my lady. You just gotta let it slide.
Now, this is a scene where I thought, okay, this is how you're going to convince Daenerys. When he shows her the cave of all the dragon glass, and then we see him show her the drawings by the Children of the Forest.
Which he and Davos made 10 minutes earlier.
Yeah, they were like, quick, get. Are you a good drawer? Yeah, I'm pretty good. I only have 4 fingers. But those were really cool to see.
Yeah, it was very cool. Like, it shows some of the history, kind of like in our world, too, where they marked history through drawings and caves and things like that. And I kind of thought Daenerys should turn around and, like, start, like, okay, maybe I will help you.
Well, she did seem to believe him at this point.
Then she's like, yeah, but bend a knee, which I do think he did.
You think he did it?
In the cave.
Really?
Or pledged. There were so many hints throughout the rest of the episode that I realized that. You didn't get that?
No. What were the hints?
When they're walking out, Davos says, "Oh, I think we shouldn't be here," and she's like, "No," like ordering Davos, like kind of like how the way she like talked to Davos.
Well, Davos still insisted to Missandei that Jon was the king.
Well, no. But before that, when they're walking out of the cave,
Davos still calls
Davos
Jon
wouldn't
the king.
know. I don't think Jon told Davos yet. But Davos was walking, and Daenerys kind of like ordered him, kind of like how she was. I don't think
they would have much of a say anyway.
I don't think it was
gonna not. But she's just being Daenerys at that point.
Yeah, but I don't think it was like meant to see something. Maybe a little bit of foreshadowing.
You think something that significant
also,
wouldn't be showed on screen?
It's kind of like they come back to it, and then also when Missandei,
they're not gonna do that.
Missandei also called Jon Lord Snow.
Yeah, because they've been dissing him the whole time.
Well, you'd think by now, it's been a couple of weeks, that she's probably showed some respect at all. They've been his guest, and then she goes back and calls him Lord Snow.
It's not about showing respect.
I'm just saying that just a little couple of things that I've seen that
if something as significant as Jon bending the knee to Daenerys, they're not going to just brush that off. Oh, it happened in the cave. And we know what happens when Jon takes women into caves. He does bend the knee, so he does get low.
Nice.
Yeah, you like that?
I'm just saying, I'm keeping it out there.
Well, what do you think about a romance between the two characters? Because it looked like they were kind of teasing us with, they're getting closer. They're getting closer. I don't want that to happen. It's not even that it's aunt and nephew. It's just, it doesn't seem necessary. Like, just let them be allies. They're two great characters.
Yeah.
They've been built up on their own. They haven't been...
But it's the perfect solution. I don't get why none of them like thought of it. Oh, you have the North, I have the South. I don't have a wife. I don't have a husband.
There's no time for weddings. We know how weddings end. And she's going to invite all the Dothraki? That's even worse. That's a guaranteed...
It's like 3 deaths.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have a boring wedding.
The scene, too, that really stuck with me was when they tell Daenerys about Casterly Rock and how it kind of failed. And then she says to Tyrion, are you sure that you want to take these people out, your family? Are you going soft on them, Tyrion? I felt bad for Tyrion. You know, he's caught in a tough place. He obviously wants revenge on Cersei, but he doesn't want to kill Jaime. He still loves Jaime. And you see later in that scene with the battle where he's overlooking, look what I've done. I've betrayed my family. I'm slaughtering my own men that used to be my men.
And he's calling Jaime like, don't do it, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah. Do you think he has some regret? He has to.
I mean, he'll always love Jaime and Bronn and things like that. I mean, it's hard. It's going against your own people. You are going against your own people. It's House Lannister you're attacking. So it's not an easy pill to swallow, but that's what he chose. It's basically his only move. I mean, in a perfect world, Tyrion would want Daenerys to take the crown without having any casualties except for Cersei. I think he wanted to believe that deep down, but it's not possible.
Daenerys looks to Jon for advice, and Jon says, your people believe in you because you made something impossible possible.
But I know from experience.
Yeah, but if you go and you just burn down castles and you're killing civilians, you're not any different, you're just more of the same. And it works out that Daenerys was able to attack them without any civilian casualties. Why was Arya absolutely tap dancing on Brienne? She was swerving on her.
Brienne started getting pissed. I was like...
No, she was going at it.
Like, I see you.
And Littlefinger and Sansa overlook them like, what the fuck?
I was like, am I the only fucking normal one left? Like, Jon's saying he died and come back. Bran's tripping. And Arya's some fucking super assassin.
Well, that move that she did when she kind of caught Brienne's hand and then she put the dagger to her throat, it's like, oh my God,
Brienne had the sword by her too.
Yeah. And then she's like, who taught you how to do that?
No one.
Best line of the whole episode. I love the dialogue in this episode because it was so tight and efficient, and the callbacks to the earlier seasons were great. And then we get another callback, Davos being a grammar Nazi, when Jon's like, how many men do we have? 10,000? Maybe less?
Fewer. What?
Carrying on the legacy of Stannis Baratheon.
And it's 4 less fingernails to clean.
Fewer.
Pardon?
We got our own to worry about. Less enemies for us.
Fewer. What?
And Missandei just hyping up Daenerys to Jon and Davos. I mean, you see Jon trying to get a gauge for Daenerys and who she is as a person. Missandei talking about how they choose to fight for her. She's not making them, and they'll basically do anything for her because we chose this queen.
Yeah, and Davos is like, will you forgive me if I switch sides? Fucking Davos.
He's bringing some one-liners this season.
He's a snappy guy. Theon comes back, and Jon and Theon... I thought Jon was going to beat him up.
Oh, I wanted Jon to just punch him in the fucking face. I hate Theon.
I don't hate Theon.
You give me a lot of shit for this because, like,
No, there are a lot of people who hate Theon.
How can you still hate him? He's been all through this stuff. I still, like, when I go back and rewatch and Theon bends the knee to Rob, I'm like, am I your brother now and always? God, you son of a fucking bitch.
Well,
Don't do it, Rob. Don't do it. He does it every time.
He's a very complex character. He was put in a very tough situation, as are all characters in these novels and show.
Weak.
He's not weak. It's what George R. R. Martin always says that he loves writing about, the human heart in conflict with itself, and that's embodied in Theon, it's embodied in Jaime, Daenerys, all the characters, but more so in Theon.
I'm just a Rob stan, so.
Yeah, you are a Rob stan, but going back to that scene when he's sending the letter to Rob and he decides to burn it, that is the human heart in conflict with itself.
Oh, no, it's fantastic. I love the character, like...
The arc.
Yeah, I love the arc and, like, what it brings to the story. It's just...
But I don't hate him. I love Rob, but Rob made a lot of dumb mistakes, too, that...
No, that's false.
All right, so what would you give this episode out of 10?
I had to give it a 10. That last scene alone was just spectacular. I'm still like amped up about that. I've never like been so glued to a TV and infatuated with a scene because Jaime's my favorite character, so I thought he was a goner. And
I thought Littlefinger was your favorite character.
No, it's Cersei.